What's going on? Big A coming at you with another video. And in this one, I'm going to talk about the Eternals because I finally saw it yesterday and it was a hard movie to watch. It was very slow. Now, a slow movie isn't necessarily a bad thing, but in this case, it was like to compare it to Dune, for example, which is a movie that was quite slow. It had enough there for it to be slow and for everything to be explained to you as the film goes on. So you're on board and understand everything and you go, okay, I know what the Bene Gesserit is now, and I know this, and I know that, there's the Emperor and there's political beef going on because, House Atreides is like very popular and whatnot, and so he wants to get rid of him. All that stuff, what I mean? It explains it all. So I get why the movie's like over 2 hours, getting towards like the 2.5 hours mark. Whereas this is a movie that should have been fun. It's a crazy movie about people who are like 7,000 years old and has like guided humanity to kind of the stage where it's at now. And they've got crazy powers. They've been protecting us from deviants for well centuries, thousands of years. But none of that concept sounds fun. But none of the movie was really fun until the last third. I think if you're going to do something crazy like that, don't take yourself way too seriously. They took themselves way too seriously for something as crazy as giant space being, a celestial, tells them to protect this planet. Like I don't know as to why it took so long for that film to become the slightest bit interesting whatsoever. Like it shouldn't have taken that long. And you know what? There were some decent things in there as well. There were some decent kind of character things, but they don't come up until like so far down the line that you're not really bothered. You just go, okay, that would have been an interesting concept. Like the concept with Sprite, obviously being a child for like 7,000 years and not getting the chance to be an adult, but yet having certain like kind of desires and kind of wants, but not getting to experience those things and always being treated like a child and like how frustrating that is. That's like something that's actually quite interesting, but it doesn't come up until like well after we're into the like second half of the movie. And then other things come up with that character as well. And you're like, they've never like that it would have been interesting to know that from the start or to know that from the beginning. And then there's flashbacks to thousands of years ago, like when the Eternals were first here. And then it's just like these flashbacks are so long and they're there to kind of explain to us, the audience, who the character is or who the characters are or an important event that they've referred to or they're about to refer to that we need to know about. And it just slows down the whole movie. Like, I think there's a version of this movie that could exist where it's like under 2 hours or 2 hours or under. But man, they made all the choices to drag this thing out. And like I said, it doesn't get fun until we're near the end of the movie. And, crazy, giant, massive things happen and all this. But then there is a little bit of BS in there as well, because there's a certain thing that the characters have to do in order to like win the day. But then it turns out that they didn't need to do that thing because it happens automatically anyway. And it's just like, yo, you're wasting my time. If that's the case, you're wasting my time. You know what I mean? So I'm not angry at this movie. It is well made. That's the weird thing. It's a well made movie. It's just story wise, bro. It just didn't do it for me. Like I said, there is some cool action in there. Um, some of it is a bit boring because it's very by the numbers. Like this film is like a kid who does a coloring book and colors it in perfectly, but there's no flair, there's no imagination, there's no risk taking, like there's no coloring outside the lines to see as to like whether that could be, you know what I mean? That's what it's like. It's like just seeing this kid color this thing in perfectly, and because of that, it's boring. It is boring. Like so, if I had to rate the movie, man, it's weird because, like I said, it is well made. Weirdly, um, but there's just so much to get through. I'd have to give it like say a C minus or a D is what I'd rate this movie as. Let me know as to whether you've seen Eternals, what you think of it, whether you agree or disagree with me, or as to whether you're waiting for it to come on Disney Plus so you don't have to pay to go and see it. I saw it in IMAX myself. Um, Would I say it was a regret? No, because to be honest, the action scenes that were in IMAX were pretty cool. I can't deny that. But the rest of it, I can leave. Yeah, do all the things. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one.